I hesitated, my heart pounding in my chest. This was it, the moment I had been avoiding for months. I think I want to explore my sexuality, I said, the words tumbling out before I could stop them. Alex blinked, his expression unreadable. Your sexuality? He repeated slowly. What do you mean? I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. I mean, I've never been with a woman before. And I think I need to know what that's like. Before we start, thank you for coming to my channel. Your participation is my happiness. Let me know where you are and what time it is now. Okay, now let's get into the story. It all started on a quiet Sunday afternoon. The kind of day where the sunlight filters through the curtains just right, and the world feels still, like it's holding its breath. My husband, Alex, and I were sitting on the couch, sipping coffee and flipping through a magazine. It was one of those rare moments where everything felt normal, comfortable, but beneath the surface I could feel something stirring. A restlessness I couldn't quite name. Alex and I had been married for 7 years. We met in college, two wide-eyed kids who thought we had the whole world figured out. He was the steady one, the kind of guy who always knew what to say and when to say it. I was the dreamer, always chasing after something I couldn't quite put into words. Together we built a life. A cozy home in the suburbs, a golden retriever named Max, and a routine that felt safe and predictable. But lately, safe and predictable had started to feel suffocating. Do you ever feel like we're stuck? I asked suddenly, breaking the silence. Alex looked up from his coffee, his brow furrowing. Stuck? What do you mean? I shrugged, staring down at my hands. I don't know. Like we're just going through the motions. Work, dinner, TV, sleep. Rinse and repeat. Don't you ever feel like there's something more out there? Alex set his coffee cup down and reached for my hand. Is this about the trip? He asked gently. Because if you want to go somewhere, we can start planning something. Maybe Europe? You've always wanted to see Paris. I shook my head. It's not about a trip, Alex. Bigger than that. I feel like I'm missing something. Like there's this whole other side of me I haven't explored. Alex was quiet for a moment, his thumb brushing over the back of my hand. What kind of side? He asked finally. I hesitated, my heart pounding in my chest. This was it, the moment I had been avoiding for months. I think I want to explore my sexuality, I said, the words tumbling out before I could stop them. Alex blinked, his expression unreadable. Your sexuality? He repeated slowly. What do you mean? I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. I mean, I've never been with a woman before. And I think I need to know what that's like. The room fell silent, the weight of my confession hanging heavily in the air. Alex stared at me, his blue eyes searching mine for something. Answers, maybe, or reassurance. I couldn't tell. Are you saying you're bisexual? He asked finally, his voice careful. I nodded, though the word felt strange on my tongue. I think so. I mean, I've always been attracted to women, but I've never acted on it. Now, I feel like I need to. I need to know what it's like. Alex leaned back against the couch, running a hand through his hair. Wow, he said softly. I don't know what to say. I reached for his hand, squeezing it tightly. I'm sorry, Alex. I didn't mean to spring this on you. I can't keep it bottled up anymore. Alex was quiet for a long time, his gaze fixed on the floor. Finally, he looked up at me, his expression a mix of confusion and something else, curiosity maybe. What do you want to do? He asked. I swallowed hard, my heart racing. I don't know. I need to explore this. But I don't want to lose you, Alex. You're my husband. I love you. Alex sighed, his shoulders slumping. I love you too, he said. But this is a lot to process. I need some time to think. I nodded, tears welling up in my eyes. I understand. The next few days were tense. Alex and I moved around each other like strangers, careful not to touch or speak too much. I could feel the distance growing between us, and it terrified me. But I also knew that I couldn't take back what I had said. This was who I was, and I needed to figure it out. Finally, one evening, Alex came home with a strange look on his face. I've been thinking, he said, his voice steady but cautious, about what you said. And I think I have an idea. I looked up from the book I was pretending to read. What kind of idea? Alex sat down across from me, his hands clasped tightly in his lap. "There's this club," he said slowly. "A dating club, I guess you could call it. It's a place where people go to explore their desires. Safely. Discreetly." My heart skipped a beat. "A dating club?" Alex nodded, though his jaw was tight. "I thought, maybe we could go together. You could explore. And I'd be there, just in case." I stared at him, my mind racing. "You'd really do that? For me?" Alex reached for my hand, his grip firm. "I love you, Emily. And if this is something you need to do, then I want to be there for you. But we have to set boundaries. And if at any point it's too much, we leave. No questions asked." I nodded, tears streaming down my face. "Thank you, Alex." I don't know what to say. Alex pulled me into a tight hug, his voice muffled against my hair. "Just promise me one thing," he said. "Promise me this won't change us." I held onto him tightly, my heart aching with love and guilt. "I promise." That Friday night, we found ourselves standing outside the club, the neon sign above the door casting a soft glow over the sidewalk. My heart was pounding in my chest, my hands trembling as I clutched Alex's arm. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his voice low and cautious. I nodded, though my stomach was in knots. "I'm sure." Alex gave me a small, tight smile. "Okay, let's go." As we stepped inside, the pulse of the music hit me like a wave, the bass vibrating through my chest. The air was thick with the scent of perfume and sweat, the room alive with the energy of bodies moving in sync. I felt a surge of excitement and fear, my heart racing as I took it all in. This was it, the beginning of something new. And as I glanced at Alex, his hand still firmly in mine, I knew that no matter what happened, we were in this together. The club was unlike anything I had ever experienced. The walls were lined with plush velvet booths, and the center of the room was dominated by a large dance floor, where bodies moved in sync to the rhythm of the music. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a kind of energy that made my heart race. I felt both out of place and strangely at home, like I had stepped into a world I had only ever imagined. Alex and I found a booth near the back, away from the crowd but still close enough to feel the pulse of the club. He ordered a drink for himself, a whiskey on the rocks, and a glass of wine for me. I sipped it slowly, my eyes scanning the room, taking in the sights and sounds. "So," Alex said, his voice cutting through the noise. "What now?" I glanced at him, my stomach twisting with nerves. I don't know. I guess I just see what happens." Alex nodded, though his jaw was tight. "Just be careful, okay?" Before I could respond, a woman approached our table. She was tall and striking, with long auburn hair that cascaded over her shoulders in loose waves. Her eyes were a deep shade of green, and they locked onto mine with an intensity that made my breath catch. "Hi," she said, her voice smooth and confident. "I'm Claire. Mind if I join you?" I glanced at Alex, who gave a small, almost imperceptible nod. "Sure," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "Have a seat." Claire slid into the booth beside me, her presence immediately filling the space. She smelled like jasmine and something else, something warm and intoxicating. "First time here?" she asked, her eyes flicking between me and Alex. I nodded, feeling suddenly self-conscious. "Yeah, it's different." Claire smiled, a slow, knowing smile that made my cheeks flush. "It can be overwhelming at first," she said. "But once you let go, it's liberating." I swallowed hard, my heart pounding in my chest. I'm not sure I know how to let go." Claire leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Let me show you." I glanced at Alex, who was staring down at his drink, his jaw clenched. He didn't look up, but I could see the tension in his shoulders. "Alex," I started, but he shook his head. "It's okay," he said, his voice tight. "Do what you need to do." Claire stood up, holding out her hand to me. "Come on," she said, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Let's dance." I hesitated for a moment before taking her hand, letting her pull me to my feet. As we made our way to the dance floor, I glanced back at Alex, who was still sitting in the booth, his eyes fixed on the table in front of him. For a moment I felt a pang of guilt, but it was quickly overshadowed by the thrill of what was about to happen. The music was loud, the beat pulsing through my body as Claire pulled me into the crowd. She moved with a confidence and grace that was mesmerizing, her body swaying to the rhythm of the music. I tried to follow her lead, but my movements felt awkward and stiff in comparison. Relax, Claire said, her voice low and soothing. Just feel the music. Let it move you. I closed my eyes, trying to let go of my inhibitions. Slowly I began to move, my body responding to the beat. Claire's hands found my hips, guiding me, her touch sending shivers down my spine. I opened my eyes to find her watching me, her gaze intense and unreadable. There you go, she said, a small smile playing on her lips. You're a natural. I felt a surge of confidence, my movements becoming more fluid as I let myself get lost in the music. Claire's hands slid up my sides, her touch sending a jolt of electricity through me. I could feel the heat of her body pressed against mine, the scent of her perfume filling my senses. For a moment, the rest of the world faded away. It was just me and Claire, moving together in perfect harmony. But then, a voice in the back of my mind reminded me of Alex, sitting alone in the booth, and the guilt came rushing back. I pulled away slightly, my breath coming in short gasps. I need a minute, I said, my voice trembling. Claire nodded, her expression softening. Of course, she said. Take your time. I made my way back to the booth, my heart still racing. Alex looked up as I approached, his eyes searching mine. Are you okay? He asked, his voice filled with concern. I nodded, though my hands were still shaking. I'm fine. I need to think. Alex reached out, taking my hand in his. We can leave if you want, he said. Just say the word. I shook my head, though part of me wanted to take him up on the offer. No. I need to do this. I need a minute. Alex nodded, though his eyes were filled with worry. Okay. I'm here if you need me. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. The night was far from over, and I knew that whatever happened next would change everything. But for the first time in a long time I felt alive, and I wasn't ready to let that feeling go. As the night wore on, I found myself drawn back to Claire. There was something about her confidence, her ease, the way she made me feel seen, that I couldn't resist. We danced again, our bodies moving together in a way that felt both foreign and familiar. And when she leaned in to kiss me, I didn't pull away. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, as if she was testing the waters. But when I kissed her back, it deepened, becoming something more. Something hungry and desperate. I felt a surge of emotions, excitement, fear, guilt, and something else I couldn't quite name. It was everything I had imagined and more, but it was also terrifying. When we finally pulled apart, I was breathless, my heart pounding in my chest. Claire smiled at me, her eyes filled with something I couldn't quite read. You're amazing, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the music. I glanced back at the booth where Alex was still sitting, his eyes fixed on us. His expression was unreadable, but I could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands were clenched into fists. For a moment I felt a pang of guilt, but it was quickly overshadowed by the thrill of what had just happened. I need to go, I said, my voice trembling. Claire nodded, her expression softening. Of course, she said. But if you ever want to do this again, you know where to find me. I nodded, though my mind was racing. As I made my way back to the booth, I felt a mix of emotions, excitement, guilt, fear, and something else I couldn't quite name. I knew that whatever happened next, my life would never be the same. Alex looked up as I approached, his eyes searching mine. Are you okay? He asked, his voice filled with concern. I nodded, though my hands were still shaking. I'm fine. I need to go home. Alex stood up, his expression unreadable. Okay, he said. Let's go. As we made our way out of the club, I couldn't help but glance back at Claire, who was still standing on the dance floor watching us go. There was something in her eyes, something I couldn't quite place, that made my heart ache. The night was far from over, and I knew that whatever happened next would change everything. But for the first time in a long time I felt alive, and I wasn't ready to let that feeling go. Thank you for listening to the story so far. Your encouragement means a lot to me. Please comment and share your thoughts here. I love you, and I am so grateful to have you on this journey with me to explore the story further. The drive home was silent, the weight of what had just happened hanging heavily in the air between us. Alex kept his eyes on the road, his hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turned white. I sat in the passenger seat, staring out the window, my mind racing with thoughts I couldn't quite untangle. The kiss with Claire replayed in my head over and over, each time bringing a fresh wave of guilt and excitement. When we finally pulled into the driveway, Alex turned off the engine but didn't move to get out of the car. He sat there, staring straight ahead, his jaw clenched. I could feel the tension radiating off him, and it made my stomach churn. "Alex," I started, my voice barely above a whisper. He held up a hand, cutting me off. "Not here," he said, his voice tight. "Let's go inside." I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. We got out of the car and walked into the house, the silence between us deafening. Max, our golden retriever, greeted us at the door, wagging his tail excitedly, but even his usual enthusiasm couldn't break the tension. Alex walked straight to the living room and sat down on the couch, his hands clasped tightly in his lap. I followed him, sitting down across from him, my hands trembling as I tried to find the right words. "Alex," I said finally, my voice breaking. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you." Alex looked up at me, his blue eyes filled with a mixture of anger and pain. "What did you expect, Emily?" he asked, his voice low and strained. "You kissed her. Right in front of me. Did you think I wouldn't care?" I shook my head, tears streaming down my face. "No, I didn't think. I got caught up in the moment." "I'm so sorry." Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I don't know what to do, Emily. I thought I could handle this. I thought I could be okay with it. But seeing you with her, it hurt. More than I thought it would." I reached out to take his hand, but he pulled away, his expression hardening. "Don't," he said, his voice sharp. "I need some space. I need to think." I nodded, my heart aching with guilt and regret. "Okay," I whispered. "Take all the time you need." Alex stood up and walked out of the room, leaving me alone on the couch. I sat there for a long time, staring at the wall, my mind racing. The thrill of the night had faded, replaced by a crushing sense of guilt. I had hurt Alex, the man I loved more than anything, and I wasn't sure if our marriage could survive it. The next few days were tense. Alex and I moved around each other like strangers, careful not to touch or speak too much. I could feel the distance growing between us, and it terrified me. But I also knew that I couldn't take back what I had done. This was who I was, and I needed to figure it out. Finally, one evening, Alex came home with a strange look on his face. "We need to talk," he said, his voice steady but cautious. I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. "Okay." We sat down at the kitchen table, the silence between us heavy with unspoken words. Alex took a deep breath, his eyes searching mine. "I've been thinking," he said slowly, "about what happened. And I think we need to set some boundaries." I nodded, my hands trembling in my lap. "Okay. What kind of boundaries?" Alex hesitated, his jaw tightening. "If you want to explore this side of yourself, then I'm not going to stop you. But I can't be a part of it. I can't watch you with someone else. It's too much." I felt a pang of guilt, my heart aching with regret. "I understand," I whispered. "I'm so sorry, Alex. I never meant to hurt you." Alex reached out, taking my hand in his. "I know," he said, his voice softening. "And I love you, Emily. I really do. But this is hard for me. I need to know that you're still committed to us. To our marriage." I nodded, tears streaming down my face. "I am," I said, my voice breaking. "I love you, Alex. More than anything." Alex pulled me into a tight hug, his voice muffled against my hair. "Then we'll figure this out," he said. "Together." Over the next few weeks, Alex and I worked on rebuilding the trust that had been broken. It wasn't easy. There were moments of tension and doubt, moments when I wondered if we would ever be the same again. But we really talked about what we needed from each other and how we could move forward. I didn't go back to the club. Instead, I focused on my relationship with Alex, on rediscovering the love and connection that had brought us together in the first place. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and that was enough. As for Claire, I never saw her again. But I didn't regret what had happened. It had been a moment of exploration, of self-discovery, and it had taught me something important about myself. But it had also taught me something even more important, that love, trust, and respect are the foundations of any relationship, and once broken, they are not easily repaired. In the end, I realized that some desires are better left unexplored, and that the greatest wisdom lies in knowing when to let curiosity go, and when to hold on to what truly matters. And for me, what truly mattered was Alex, our marriage, and the life we had built together. Part 4. Moving forward. The weeks turned into months, and slowly but surely Alex and I began to find our way back to each other. It wasn't easy. There were moments of tension, moments when the weight of what had happened threatened to pull us apart again. But we were committed to making it work, to rebuilding the trust and love that had been the foundation of our marriage. One evening, as we sat on the couch watching a movie, Alex turned to me, his expression serious. "Emily," he said, his voice soft but firm, "I've been thinking about what happened, about what you need." I looked at him, my heart skipping a beat. "What do you mean?" Alex took a deep breath, his eyes searching mine. "I know that this part of you, it's not going to go away, and I don't want you to feel like you have to suppress it. But I also know that I can't be a part of it. Not in the way we tried before." I nodded, my stomach twisting with nerves. "I understand," I said quietly. "I don't want to hurt you again, Alex. I never wanted that." Alex reached out, taking my hand in his. "I know," he said, "and I don't want to hold you back. So, I've been thinking, maybe there's a way for you to explore this side of yourself without it coming between us." I frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" Alex hesitated, his jaw tightening. "I mean, maybe you could see someone, a woman, but not like before. Not in a club, not with me there. Something private, discreet. And we set boundaries, clear boundaries." I stared at him, my mind racing. "Are you saying you're okay with me being with someone else? As long as it's not in front of you?" Alex nodded, though his expression was pained. "I'm not saying it's easy for me. It's not. But I love you, Emily. And I want you to be happy. If this is something you need, then I'm willing to try. But we have to be honest with each other. No secrets. No lies." Tears welled up in my eyes as I squeezed his hand. "Thank you, Alex," I whispered. "I don't know what to say." Alex gave me a small, tight smile. "Just promise me one thing," he said. "Promise me that no matter what happens, we'll always come back to each other. That we'll always be honest." I nodded, my heart aching with love and gratitude. "I promise." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of emotions. Alex and I talked more than we had in years, setting boundaries and discussing what this new arrangement would look like. It wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt and fear, moments when I wondered if we were making a mistake. But we were committed to making it work, to finding a way to honor both my needs and our marriage. Finally, one evening, I found myself sitting across from a woman named Sarah at a quiet coffee shop. She was beautiful, with dark hair and warm brown eyes, and there was a kindness in her smile that put me at ease. We had met through a mutual friend, and after a few conversations, I felt comfortable enough to take this step. "So," Sarah said, her voice gentle, "tell me about yourself." I took a deep breath, my hands trembling as I wrapped them around my coffee cup. I'm married," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "And I've never been with a woman before. But I think I need to know what it's like." Sarah nodded, her expression understanding. "And your husband, he's okay with this?" I nodded, though my stomach twisted with guilt. "He is. We've talked about it. A lot. And we've set boundaries. But it's still hard. For both of us." Sarah reached out, placing a hand over mine. "It's brave of you," she said, "to be honest with yourself and with him. Not everyone can do that." I felt a surge of gratitude, tears welling up in my eyes. "Thank you," I whispered. I don't want to hurt anyone. But I also don't want to live with regrets." Sarah smiled, her eyes filled with warmth. "Then let's take it slow," she said. "No pressure. No expectations. Just see where this goes." I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. For the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of hope. A belief that maybe, just maybe, I could find a way to honor both my desires and my love for Alex. As the weeks went on, Sarah and I began to explore this new side of myself. It was different from anything I had ever experienced, softer, more intimate, and yet just as thrilling. But through it all, I kept my promise to Alex. We talked openly and honestly about what was happening, and though it wasn't always easy, It brought us closer together in ways I hadn't expected. One evening as I lay in bed with Alex, his arms wrapped tightly around me, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice breaking, "for giving me this. For trusting me." Alex kissed the top of my head, his voice soft and filled with love. "I love you, Emily," he said. "And I want you to be happy. No matter what." Tears streamed down my face as I held on to him, my heart overflowing with gratitude. I knew that our journey wasn't over, that there would be challenges and moments of doubt. But I also knew that as long as we were honest with each other, as long as we held on to the love that had brought us together, we could get through anything. Some desires are worth exploring, but not at the cost of what truly matters. And for me, what truly mattered was Alex, our marriage, and the life we had built together. Months passed, and life began to settle into a new rhythm. Alex and I had found a way to navigate the complexities of our relationship, and though it wasn't always easy, we were committed to making it work. Sarah and I continued to see each other, but it was never about replacing Alex or our marriage. It was about exploring a part of myself that I had ignored for too long, and Alex's willingness to support me in that journey had brought us closer than ever. One evening as I sat on the porch with Alex, watching the sun dip below the horizon, I felt a sense of contentment I hadn't felt in years. The air was warm, the sky painted in hues of orange and pink, and for the first time in a long time everything felt right. "Do you ever think about the future?" I asked, breaking the comfortable silence between us. Alex glanced at me, a small smile playing on his lips. "All the time," he said. "Why? What are you thinking about?" I shrugged, leaning back in my chair. "I don't know. Just how far we've come. And how much further we have to go." Alex reached out, taking my hand in his. "We've been through a lot," he said. "But I think we're stronger for it. Don't you?" I nodded, squeezing his hand. "I do. I want to make sure we're always honest with each other. No matter what." Alex's expression softened, his eyes filled with love. "We will be," he said. "I promise." A few weeks later, Sarah and I decided to take a weekend trip together. It was something we had talked about for a while. A chance to get away, to explore this connection we had built without the distractions of everyday life. Alex was supportive, though I could see the flicker of unease in his eyes when I told him about the trip. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his voice careful. I nodded, though my stomach twisted with nerves. "I am. But if you're not okay with it, I won't go." Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's not that I'm not okay with it," he said. I worry. About you. About us." I reached out, taking his hand in mine. "I know," I said. "And I love you for that. But this is something I need to do. For me. And for us." Alex nodded, his expression softening. "Okay," he said. "Just be careful. And call me if you need anything." I smiled, leaning in to kiss him. "I will." The weekend with Sarah was everything I had hoped for and more. We spent our days exploring the city, trying new foods, and talking about everything and nothing. And at night we lay in bed together, our bodies entwined, our hearts beating in sync. It was different from anything I had ever experienced, softer, more intimate, and yet just as thrilling. But through it all, I never forgot about Alex. He was always in the back of my mind, a constant reminder of the love and commitment that had brought me to this point. And when I returned home, I felt a sense of clarity I hadn't felt in years. As the months turned into years, Alex and I continued to grow stronger. We talked openly and honestly about our feelings, our fears, and our desires, and though it wasn't always easy, it brought us closer together in ways I hadn't expected. Sarah and I eventually drifted apart, but I would always be grateful for the role she had played in my journey of self-discovery. One evening as I sat on the porch with Alex, watching the sun dip below the horizon, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't felt in a long time. The air was warm, the sky painted in hues of orange and pink, and for the first time in a long time everything felt right. "Do you ever think about the future?" I asked, breaking the comfortable silence between us. Alex glanced at me, a small smile playing on his lips. "All the time," he said. "Why? What are you thinking about?" I shrugged, leaning back in my chair. "I don't know. Just how far we've come. And how much further we have to go." Alex reached out, taking my hand in his. We've been through a lot, he said. But I think we're stronger for it. Don't you? I nodded, squeezing his hand. I do. I want to make sure we're always honest with each other. No matter what. Alex's expression softened, his eyes filled with love. We will be, he said. I promise. As the years went on, Alex and I continued to build a life together. A life filled with love, trust, and respect. We had been through so much, but we had come out stronger on the other side. And though our journey had been anything but easy, I wouldn't have traded it for anything. Some desires are worth exploring, but not at the cost of what truly matters. And for me, what truly mattered was Alex, our marriage, and the life we had built together. Years had passed since that fateful night at the club, and life for Alex and me had changed in many ways. We had learned to live with the truths about ourselves, our desires, our fears, and the love we shared for each other. It hadn't been an easy journey, but it had made us stronger and brought us closer together. One autumn afternoon, Alex and I sat on the bench in our backyard, watching the golden leaves fall gently to the ground. The air was crisp, and the clear blue sky reflected the soft sunlight. I felt a sense of peace I hadn't experienced in years. Do you remember the first time we talked about this? Alex asked, his voice gentle but filled with emotion. I smiled, recalling that moment. How could I forget? I was so scared. I didn't know how you'd react. Alex took my hand, his eyes filled with love. I was scared too, he admitted. But I knew you needed to explore this part of yourself. And I loved you too much to stand in your way. Tears streamed down my face. You gave me the freedom I needed, I said, my voice trembling. And I'll always be grateful for that. Alex pulled me into his arms, his warmth enveloping me. We've been through so much together, he said. And I don't regret any of it. Because it all brought us here, to this moment. I nodded, my heart overflowing with love and gratitude. We had faced challenges, pain, and moments of joy. And now we had found a balance we had worked so hard to achieve. Sarah and I had gradually drifted apart, but I would always be grateful to her for helping me explore a part of myself I had long buried. She had taught me that being honest with myself was the most important thing, and that true love could overcome any barrier. As for Alex, my husband, my partner, he had stayed by my side, patient and loving. He had given me the space to explore, but he had also reminded me that we were a team, and that our love was the most important thing. One evening, as we sat on the couch, Max curled up at our feet, I felt a deep sense of contentment. Do you think we did the right thing? I asked softly. Alex looked at me, his eyes filled with affection. I think we did what was best for us, he said. And that's all we could do. I nodded, feeling a weight lift off my heart. We had been through so much, but in the end we were still together. And that was what mattered most. Life doesn't always go the way we expect. Sometimes we face difficult choices and desires we can't ignore. But if we're honest with ourselves and with the people we love, we can find our way. Love isn't always easy, but it's worth it. And sometimes, understanding and accepting ourselves is the first step to finding true happiness. With Alex, I learned that love isn't about giving up who you are, but finding a way for both to coexist and grow together. And that's something I'll always cherish. And that's it for today's story. I'd love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below and share your feelings. Did you relate to any of the characters? Or if you were in their shoes, what decisions would you make? I'd love to hear from all of you. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't, hit one. Subscribe so you don't miss out on more great content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.